21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
So really in this episode, I talk about how entrepreneurs are really, burnt out. They're hustling harder than they've ever been, right? They're feeling lost. And not only that, they're starting to feel misaligned. They're starting to feel trapped by their business. They're starved for time, and they don't even know what they're optimizing for anymore. So my name is Coach Trevor McGregor, and I'm a high-performance, peak performance master platinum coach and the founder and CEO of Trevor McGregor International. And so for the past 15 years, I've been working with business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisees, Fortune 500 executives to help them go from where they are to where they really want to be, which is scaling their business, making more money, right? Absolutely having tremendous impact and creating way more free time than they've ever had before. And my claim to fame, and you might hear that my voice is a little bit raspy, as I've now done over 45,000 one-to-one coaching sessions. 45,000. And that has given me perspective on what keeps people stuck and what allows them to break through and transform and create unbelievable success. And so basically, I've discovered that there are 5 key reasons why people fail to scale. And what I love to do is go through all of these 5 things. And as I list them out, people will find it very familiar. So again, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, a startup, it doesn't matter if you're new to it or you're an intermediate or you're an expert. Listen to these 5 things because they're going to give you the keys to the kingdom and open up a whole new door for you to walk through. The very first thing I'd love to talk about is, number 1, limiting beliefs. And guess what? We've all got them, right? You might think that you're too old or too young or too educated or not educated enough, or that it's going to take a lot of money, or what if you lose the money? Well, I'm telling you, we all have doubts, fears, worry, and anxiety. But if you don't conquer that and you don't break through that, that's what's going to keep you stuck. The second thing I like to talk about is a lack of a strategic plan, right? And a lack of a strategic plan is really about, well, where are you at? Where do you want to go? And really what's preventing you from creating a roadmap, a recipe, a blueprint, or even a GPS that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. And believe it or not, most people spend more time planning their vacation than they do their business and their life. So what I like to do is take a look at where do you want to go in the short term, where do you want to go in the midterm, and then where do you want to go in the long term, or what's your vision for your business and your life? And then we reverse engineer and help you to start moving towards it. The third thing we often talk about is a lack of systems for support, because we can get rid of your limiting beliefs and we can create a plan. But if you don't have systems that support you in terms of what you're doing every day, or who's on your team, or what systems you're using, or what seats in the bus people occupy, and even nowadays thinking about adding AI to your business, you're fooling yourself. You've got to really remember that your systems are what makes the business absolutely thrive. The fourth thing I am absolutely passionate about is poor time management. Poor time management. I meet entrepreneurs and business owners all the time that tell me, Trevor, I'm so busy. I don't have enough time. I wish there were 8 days in a week. And that's not necessarily what you need, because I find that people work on things that are urgent instead of working on the things that are important. And under my watchful eye, we start to optimize what you should be doing, what you should be delegating, and what you should be dumping altogether. The fifth and final thing I love to talk about is really when it all boils down to a lack of execution, right? If you're not out there taking what I call intelligent and inspired action, you're never going to start moving towards your outcomes. And what I love about the words intelligent and inspired is intelligent means smart, and inspired means because you get to, not because you have to. So when we really think about getting rid of your limiting beliefs, creating a strategic plan, creating systems that support that plan, optimizing your time management, and then getting out there and executing, that's the recipe that allows people to achieve phenomenal levels of success, wealth, and freedom. So what I really find is helpful is to help entrepreneurs and business owners with what I call the 4S's. That is, if you really want to have a quantum leap in your business and your life, you've got to really think about where are you showing up in your state? Where are you showing up in your story? Where are you showing up in your standards? And yes, where are you showing up with your strategy? Because your state, your story, your standards, and your strategy is really the missing link. That if you start showing up in your power, if you start believing that you are a business owner and that you really understand that there are peaks and there are valleys for all of us as we run our businesses, and you hold yourself to a higher standard, that is, you get up early, you stay up late, you really send that email, make that call, but really do it at another level, and then really execute on a strategy that works, that's when sparks fly and magic happens. And to give you an example of that, one of my amazing clients, his name is Joe Fairless from Cincinnati. When I started working with him, and he was a real estate investor, he had 4 single family homes in Texas. And he knew that, it wasn't really going to help him to make the lifestyle and the money that he wanted. And so what we did is we pivoted to buying apartment buildings. And Joe, through using the 4S's in terms of owning his state, his story, his standards, and his strategy, now has $2.7 billion in assets under management. And I've been blessed to have a front row seat to helping him get there. And I give him a ton of credit because if he hadn't have shown up, with those 4S's and he hadn't used the 5-step frameworks to scaling, I don't even know where he'd be or where I'd be at this time. So really, when you boil it down, what I believe is everybody is after the same thing. We all want financial freedom. Let's get that money thing handled, and business is a vehicle for it. Number 2 is time freedom. If you're an entrepreneur, I want you to really realize that you've got 168 hours a week, to go out there and build your life, your family, your business, your hobbies, and nobody should be grinding because that's not how to live your best life. The third thing that I really love, and I really do myself, is really what I call location freedom. I figured out a way to run my coaching business, my consulting business, my mastermind business from anywhere there's a telephone and an internet connection. And I love that. But the final 2 things I'll say is we're all here to make impact because, what are you really going to do with the dash between the year you were born and the year you're no longer here? Are you going to leave a legacy? Are you going to build a business? Are you going to, give that business to your children? What are you really here to do? And we're all designed to go big. But the other thing is really asking yourself, which rooms are you getting into? Are you really coaching yourself up? Are you getting in front of coaches and teachers and mentors and trainers? Or are you trying to figure it out all on your own? Because the path to prosperity is really all about you naming that number, how much money you want to make, how much free time you want to have a week with your family, where you want to travel to or where you want to live, along with creating that impact and absolutely finding relationships that pull you forward. And so the other thing that I've been blessed to do is I had a chance to work with the man, the myth, the legend, yes, Mr. Tony Robbins himself. And as I went and worked with and for Tony, I got to sneak behind the curtain and see how he runs his life and really how he transforms people all over this beautiful planet. And if there's one thing I know, and it's one of his great quotes, he says that success is 80% mindset and 20% mechanics, or what you do. And again, now that I've been through so much in terms of my journey, other people's journey, other businesses, owners, and people that have really achieved phenomenal success, when we measure backwards, when we go back and we look at what allowed them to have the breakthroughs, what allowed them to make the money, what allowed them to really live the life they wanted, it's because they conditioned their mind for success. And like I said, we're all designed to go big. But if you tell yourself a story why you can't have it, it's time to rewrite that story, but really leaning into the mindset work, because that is the rocket fuel or the juice that takes you from where you are to extraordinary levels of success. So to tie this all together, what I've prepared for the listener is absolutely phenomenal. And it's something called my Rich Beyond Belief mini audio series. And what it is all of the best of the best of the best frameworks delivered in 8 mini episodes that you can listen to while you're at the gym or you're in your car or while you're working out, to really understand not only how to use some of these tools, but how to apply them immediately so that you start to make more impact, more income, get your time back, and really live a life on purpose and with purpose. So in order to get a copy of that, all you need to do is go to my website, which is trevormcgregor.com, and then /entrepreneur. I'll say that again, trevormcgregor.com /entrepreneur. You'll enter your details and I will send it directly to your inbox.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.